At 12:47 a.m., my fiancé texted me that he was still in love with his ex-girlfriend. 5 days earlier, I had received the wedding invitation proving she was about to marry his cousin, so instead of begging him to choose me, I sent him the screenshot. Then, I watched everything start falling apart. My name is Lydia Marlowe. I'm 29, and I work in supply chain for a medical device distributor covering most of the Northeast Corridor. When something goes wrong, hospitals don't say, "Oops." Surgeries get delayed, doctors start calling, and suddenly everyone knows your direct number. That Wednesday had been brutal. At 6 in the morning, a temperature-controlled shipment of sterile surgical kits lost refrigeration somewhere in Pennsylvania. I spent most of the day juggling drivers, warehouse managers, and an operating room supervisor who was one missing tray away from canceling half his schedule. By the time I got home at 9:30, I was running on fumes. I reheated leftover Thai food, ate standing over the sink, then collapsed onto the couch still wearing my work clothes. Then Martin texted, "I need to tell you something." Another message appeared. "I've been thinking a lot lately." Then, I realized I'm still in love with Vanessa. I sat upright. Read it again. Still there. I know this hurts, but those feelings never completely disappeared. I think I need time to figure out what that means. 3 years together. 6 months engaged. And my fiancé was confessing his love for another woman through a midnight text. Martin Caldwell and I had met at a work conference 3 years earlier. His company was demonstrating inventory software, and Martin handled some arrogant guy's question with such sharp humor that I actually stopped checking my phone. We got coffee afterward, then dinner, then weekends together. I met his family, survived holidays with his mother, who never quite thought I was good enough. We traveled to Colorado, got caught in a mountain storm, laughed the whole way back. Last October, on Martin's 28th birthday weekend, I proposed during a trip to the North Carolina coast. The ring cost $4,000. He cried when I opened the box, said yes before I finished the speech. Within an hour, our engagement photos were everywhere online. Our wedding venue was booked for May. I had $14,000 saved toward our first house. And now, he needed time. The strange part was that I already understood why. 5 days earlier, my friend Vincent had sent me a wedding invitation. Vanessa Hale and Daniel Caldwell. 4 weeks away. Daniel was Martin's cousin, not some distant relative. They had grown up together. Family holidays, birthdays, vacations. And Vanessa was Martin's ex-girlfriend, the woman he had always described as ancient history. I waited for Martin to tell me. Friday passed. Nothing. Saturday, we had dinner. Nothing. Sunday, we watched a movie together. Nothing. 5 days. Not one mention that his cousin was marrying his ex. So when Martin suddenly discovered at midnight that he was still desperately in love with Vanessa, the timing wasn't difficult to understand. I typed one word. Noted. His response came almost immediately. "Thank you for understanding." I actually laughed. "You're such an amazing person, Lydia. I knew you'd get it. I just need time to process everything. Can we talk tomorrow?" There it was. He wanted me on the bench while he figured out whether Vanessa's wedding meant he still had a chance. Not happening. I opened Vincent's message, saved the invitation, and sent Martin the screenshot. Then typed, "Interesting timing." The typing bubbles appeared instantly. Stopped. Appeared again. Finally. "How did you get that?" Not surprise. Not denial. Just panic. "Doesn't matter. Your cousin is marrying Vanessa in 4 weeks, and suddenly you realize you love her. When were you planning to tell me?" "It's complicated." "No, it really isn't. You don't understand my history with her." "I understand the timing." "That's not fair." I stared at the screen. You finding out Vanessa is marrying someone else doesn't suddenly mean you love her. It means you realized she's permanently unavailable. No response. "And worse, she's marrying someone in your family." Stop psychoanalyzing me. I'm not. I'm watching the pattern. That wedding brought up feelings I thought were gone. Exactly. That doesn't mean what we had wasn't real. Something inside me went strangely cold. You hid the wedding from me for 5 days. I didn't know how to tell you. You had 5 days. I was overwhelmed. And your solution was to confess you love another woman at 1 in the morning? I was trying to be honest. Honesty would have been telling me when you found out. What you're doing now is asking me to wait while you decide whether you want someone else. That's not what I said. It's exactly what you said with nicer words. I paused, then asked, "Did you contact Vanessa?" "Nothing." "Martin?" "Still nothing." "Did you contact Daniel?" The typing bubbles appeared, then vanished. My stomach tightened. "I just needed to understand what was happening," he finally wrote. "What does that mean?" "No one is trying to ruin their wedding." That wasn't an answer. I leaned back against the couch. 3 years. The wedding. The house savings. The ring. And somewhere beneath all of it, Martin had apparently kept one emotional door open. I typed, "We're done." My phone rang immediately. Martin. Declined. Again. Declined. Then messages flooded in. "Lydia, seriously? You cannot end 3 years over one conversation. You're reacting emotionally." I almost laughed. "You told your fiancé you're in love with another woman." I said I'm confused. "You said you love Vanessa." "I need time to figure myself out." "And you can do that single." Another call. Declined. "I'm not competing with Vanessa," I wrote. "I'm not waiting while you decide whether she still wants you, and I'm not anyone's backup plan." Then, "We're done. Lose my number." I blocked him, and somehow slept better than I had in weeks. For 2 days, everything stayed quiet. Then, Saturday afternoon, someone started pounding on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. Martin's older brother Aaron stood outside with Martin's best friend, Brandon. I opened the door but stayed in the doorway. Aaron spoke first. "We need to talk about what you did to Martin." "What I did?" "He's devastated. He texted me at 1 in the morning saying he loves Vanessa. I ended the engagement." Aaron sighed. The wedding messed with his head. "That isn't my responsibility." Brandon folded his arms. "He made one mistake." "No, he made several choices. He was vulnerable. So was I." "You could have supported him." "Support him while he decides whether he wants his ex?" Aaron lowered his voice. "He wants to talk face to face." "No. After 3 years, you owe him that." "He had 3 years to talk to me. He chose midnight texts." Brandon shook his head. "You're going to regret this." "I'll take my chances." After another minute of guilt trips, I closed the door. Sunday morning, I received a message from someone I hadn't expected. Daniel, Martin's cousin, Vanessa's future husband. "Hey Lydia, I heard what happened." Then, "There are things about Martin and Vanessa you need to know." We met that afternoon at a crowded cafe. Daniel barely touched his coffee. "Most of what Martin told you about their breakup isn't true." I froze. "Vanessa ended it because she caught him talking to another woman." I said nothing. Afterward, Martin wouldn't leave her alone. Calls, texts, new numbers after she blocked him, showing up at her apartment. My stomach dropped. She eventually told him she'd seek a restraining order. Martin had told me Vanessa was the obsessive one. Daniel pulled out his phone. When Vanessa and I started dating, I knew they had history, but I didn't know the full story either. Then he showed me a message. Sent by Martin. Monday night. 2 days before his confession to me. "Are you absolutely sure about marrying Vanessa? There are things about your relationship she hasn't told you. We should talk before you make a permanent mistake." I read it twice. "He tried to stop your wedding." Daniel nodded. "He tried." The cafe noise seemed to disappear. That silence Martin had given me when I asked whether he contacted Daniel suddenly made sense. Martin hadn't confessed because he was confused. He confessed after his attempt to interfere with the wedding failed. And for the first time, I understood that ending the engagement might not be the end of the drama. It might only be the beginning. After meeting Daniel, I changed my locks. Martin still had a key from when we got engaged. And after hearing about the way he had once shown up uninvited at Vanessa's apartment, I wasn't taking chances. Monday morning, I bought a new deadbolt and installed it myself before work. Tuesday evening, Martin appeared at my door. I looked through the peephole. There he was. I opened the door, but didn't move aside. "I made a mistake," he said. "A huge one. There's nothing to talk about. The wedding messed with my head. I panicked. I said things I didn't mean. You said you loved Vanessa. I was confused. You also tried to convince Daniel not to marry her." His face changed, only slightly, but enough. "Daniel told you?" "He showed me the message." Martin looked away. "That wasn't what it looked like. It looked like you tried to sabotage their wedding." "I was worried about him." "No. You were worried Vanessa was actually moving on." His jaw tightened. "I came here because I want to fix us." "There is no us. Lydia, we were going to get married." "Exactly." He took a breath. "I love you." I looked down at his left hand. The engagement ring was still there. "Give me the ring." Martin blinked. "What?" "The engagement is over. Give it back." His hand immediately covered it. "You gave this to me." "Because we were getting married. It was a gift. And now we're not getting married." His expression hardened. "You seriously care about the ring right now?" "I care about ending this cleanly." "You're unbelievable." "No. I'm done being manipulated." Martin laughed bitterly. "So that's what I am now? A manipulator? You lied about Vanessa. You hid the wedding. You tried to interfere with it. Then you asked me to wait around while you figured out whether you still wanted her. That's not what happened." "It is." His eyes started shining. "Please, Lydia. 3 years. Doesn't that mean anything?" "It meant everything to me until I realized I was your backup plan." "I never said that." "You didn't have to." He tried tears next. "I was scared." "So was I. I was confused." "That doesn't excuse what you did. I can change." "Maybe you can. Just not with me." His face went still. "The ring," I said again. "You're really going to force me?" "Yes." "That's cold." "No. Staying engaged to someone who wants another woman would be pathetic." For a long moment, Martin just stared at me. Then he ripped the ring off his finger and threw it. I caught it before it hit the floor. $4,000 of metal and stone almost bouncing down my hallway. "There," he snapped. "Happy?" "Actually, yes. You care more about that ring than you ever cared about me." "No. I cared about you enough to propose. You just weren't honest enough to deserve it." His face twisted. "You're going to regret this." "I don't think I will." He waited like he expected me to soften. I didn't. Finally, he turned and walked away. I locked the door behind him. The ring went into my dresser drawer. Then I finished making dinner. For the next 2 weeks, Martin tried a different strategy. Mutual friends started messaging me. Apparently, I had abandoned him during an emotional crisis. His confession became one moment of confusion. His attempt to interfere with Daniel's wedding disappeared entirely from the story. Most people changed their tone once I showed them the full timeline. A few didn't. They could keep him. Then, Aaron sent me a list of expenses Martin supposedly wanted reimbursed. Beach proposal trip, wedding deposit, birthday dinners, concert tickets, a coffee maker, and somehow, emotional support and domestic labor. I stared at the last line for a full minute. My attorney laughed when I showed him. "None of this has any real standing," he said. "The ring was the only thing worth worrying about, and you already have it." So I replied to Aaron. "Martin can keep the coffee maker. Everything else was either a gift or a shared expense. If he disagrees, he can file." No one filed. I thought that was finally the end. Then Daniel invited me to the wedding. His message came about 2 weeks before the ceremony. "I know this is awkward, but you've been dragged into this mess too. Vanessa and I would like you there." I almost said no. Being anywhere near Martin's family sounded exhausting. But after everything he had done, part of me wanted to see Vanessa and Daniel get married without him ruining it. So I RSVP'd yes. The wedding was held at a vineyard about 40 minutes outside the city. Rolling hills, rows of grapevines, white chairs facing an outdoor altar, string lights stretching across the reception area. The ceremony started at 3. I arrived around 2:30 and took a seat near the back. Then I saw them, Martin and Brandon, walking from the parking lot. Martin was dressed in a pale cream suit so close to white that several guests immediately turned to look. Brandon wore something equally attention-seeking beside him. Daniel's younger brother Connor was checking names at the entrance. The moment Martin reached him, Connor looked down at the clipboard. Name? Martin stared at him. You know who I am? Connor slowly ran one finger down the guest list, then looked up. You're not on here. I'm Daniel's cousin. I know. Then let me in. No. Martin's face tightened. Check again. Connor lifted the clipboard. See for yourself. Guests nearby had already started watching. Then Connor added, Daniel specifically said you weren't allowed in. Martin tried stepping around him. Connor moved directly into his path. Don't. Brandon stepped forward. This is family business. Connor looked at him. No. This is a private event. Martin's voice rose. I have every right to be here. A woman walking past glanced at his near-white suit and muttered, That outfit says otherwise. A few people laughed. Phones started appearing. Not openly recording, just enough to make it obvious that family group chats were about to explode. Then Martin lost control. He's my cousin. Vanessa was part of my life before any of you even knew her. Connor's expression changed. Exactly why you're not coming inside. Venue security arrived moments later. One of the guards spoke calmly. Sir, you need to leave the property. Martin looked around wildly. Then he saw me. 3 rows from the back. Sitting quietly. His whole body froze. You. Every nearby head turned. Martin pointed directly at me. She gets to be here? I said nothing. You invited her but not me? Connor answered for them. Daniel invited her. Martin's face went red. This is insane. Security took his arm. Sir, time to go. He pulled away. Don't touch me. Then he looked at me again. You ruined everything. I still said nothing. That seemed to hurt him more. Say something. I glanced at my phone and checked the time. Martin actually laughed in disbelief. You're seriously ignoring me? Security started walking him toward the parking lot. He kept twisting around. You think you're better than me now? I looked toward the altar instead. That did it. His voice cracked. Lydia. Nothing. Brandon followed behind, shouting about how everyone would regret humiliating Martin. They reached the parking lot, but they didn't leave. They got into Brandon's car and sat there, watching. The ceremony began exactly on time. Vanessa walked down the aisle. Daniel looked like he forgot how to breathe when he saw her. Their vows were emotional without being theatrical. When Daniel promised to choose her every day, I glanced toward the parking lot. Martin was still sitting in the car, watching the woman he claimed to love marry his cousin while the fiancé he had treated like a backup sat inside as an invited guest. Karma didn't need my help. It just needed time. After the ceremony, another family friend finally convinced Martin and Brandon to leave. The reception went on perfectly. Great food, good music, no more scenes. Daniel and Vanessa stopped by my table during dinner. Vanessa hugged me. Thank you for coming. You two deserved one peaceful day, Daniel smiled. Almost peaceful. I glanced toward the now empty parking lot. Close enough, Vanessa laughed. For the first time in weeks, the whole situation felt small. Martin had spent so much energy trying to control what everyone else chose. Vanessa, Daniel, me. And in the end, all 3 of us had simply chosen lives that didn't include him. I left around 11:30, drove home, changed into comfortable clothes, made myself a sandwich, and went to bed, believing Martin had finally played his last card. 3 months later, He showed up at my door again. 3 months after the wedding, Martin showed up at my apartment again. It was a Tuesday evening in late August. I had just gotten home from work and was making dinner when someone knocked. I checked the peephole. Martin. He looked different. Thinner. Tired. His clothes hung loosely on him, and the confidence he used to carry everywhere was gone. I opened the door but stayed in the doorway. "What do you want?" "5 minutes, please." "You tried to crash your cousin's wedding 3 months ago. We have nothing to talk about." "I know." His voice was quieter than I remembered. "I know how bad everything was. I came to apologize." "Apologize to Daniel and Vanessa." "I tried." He looked down. "They blocked me." "That shouldn't surprise you." "It's not just them. Daniel's parents won't speak to me. Half the family blocked me. Even my parents barely talk to me anymore." I said nothing. "And Brandon and I aren't friends anymore." That surprised me slightly. "What happened?" Martin gave a tired laugh. "After the wedding, I finally realized he liked the drama more than he liked me. Every time I got angry, he made me angrier. Every stupid idea I had, he told me it was brilliant." "The wedding outfit?" "His idea." "You still wore it." "I know." That answer was different. No excuse. No blame. Just acknowledgement. Martin rubbed his hands together nervously. "I've had 3 months to think about everything." "And?" His eyes met mine. "You were right." I waited. I was obsessed with Vanessa. Hearing him finally say it should have felt satisfying. It didn't. It just sounded late. When I found out she was marrying Daniel, something snapped. I kept thinking that if she married him, then whatever chance I imagined still existed was permanently gone. There was no chance. I know that now. You should have known it then. He nodded. I convinced myself she still had feelings for me. That Daniel didn't know the real her. That if I could just make him doubt her. You could stop the wedding. Yes. And when that failed, you came to me. Martin swallowed. I used you as my safe option. There it was. The sentence he had fought so hard to avoid months earlier. I cared about you, Lydia. I really did. But part of me always thought you'd be there no matter what. So you thought you could chase Vanessa and come back if it failed. His silence answered for him. That's exactly what I meant when I called myself your backup plan. I know. He looked toward the floor. I treated you terribly. Yes. I lied about Vanessa. Yes. I tried to interfere with Daniel's wedding. Yes. And then I made you the villain because you refused to tolerate it. I nodded. Yes. Martin gave a weak smile. You're not making this easy. Why should I? I guess you shouldn't. For several seconds, neither of us spoke. Then he said, I lost almost everyone. That's unfortunate. His expression tightened. I thought you might understand. I understand perfectly. You made choices. Those choices had consequences. I know. No, Martin. For months, everyone around you tried to tell you what you were doing. You didn't want to hear it. He looked away. I thought I was fighting for something real. You were fighting because you couldn't accept Vanessa choosing someone else. He nodded slowly. You're right. Again, hearing those words gave me nothing. No victory. No rush. Just closure. Martin took a small step closer. I wanted to tell you I'm sorry. I heard you. That's it? What else do you want? He hesitated. Maybe we could get coffee sometime. I almost laughed. No. Not as a date? Still no. Just talk. We're talking now. I mean someday. When everything isn't so raw. It isn't raw for me anymore. That seemed to hurt him. Martin studied my face like he was searching for some remaining piece of the woman who had once planned a wedding with him. I still care about you. I don't. His eyes widened. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I simply wasn't going to lie. You were someone I loved, I continued. Now you're someone I used to know. 3 years means nothing? It means I learned something. What? Never build a future with someone who treats you like insurance against loneliness. Martin went completely still. I continued. You wanted Vanessa because you couldn't have her. You wanted me because you thought you could always have me. He looked down. And now? Now neither of us wants you. Silence. That one landed. Eventually, Martin nodded. I deserved that. This isn't about what you deserve. It's about what I'm willing to accept. He stood there another few seconds, then quietly said, I really am sorry. I know. He turned toward the stairs. Goodbye, Lydia. Goodbye, Martin. I closed the door, locked it, then went back to dinner. The chicken had cooked slightly too long because of the interruption, but it was still edible. I ate while watching a documentary about deep-sea exploration, normal Tuesday night. And that normality felt better than revenge ever could. Later, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I opened the message. I know you probably hate me. Maybe I deserve that. But what I felt for you was real, even if I ruined everything. I'm sorry for all of it. Martin had apparently changed his number. I read the message once, deleted it, blocked the number, then put my phone face down. For months, Martin had acted as if everyone else controlled his happiness. Vanessa was supposed to choose him. Daniel was supposed to step aside. I was supposed to wait. His family was supposed to forgive him. Brandon was supposed to validate him. And when none of us played the roles he had assigned us, his entire world collapsed. I never destroyed Martin's life. I never needed to. I simply stopped protecting him from the consequences of his own choices. And eventually, karma handled everything else.